welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly and this is Kel-Cav Beauty. This morning I'm going to bring you along with me as I get ready for work doing my makeup, and I am going to be using all Dollar General makeup. That's right, you heard me correctly, Dollar General makeup. So if you're not familiar with Dollar General, they're everywhere. I mean, just walk out your front door and go down the road a bit, you're probably going to run into a Dollar General. And if you're not aware of this, Dollar General does carry their own makeup line called Believe Beauty. And that is what I'm going to be using this morning. Everything I put on is going to be from that line of Believe Beauty that is sold only at Dollar General. So let's get going, you all. I got to get ready for work. Let's do a quick time check. Right now it is 6:23. Yes, in the morning. So let's get going. First thing I need to put on is my primer. And they do carry their own primer. This is the Believe Beauty. And the name of this primer is the Radiant Primed Face Primer. Very pretty primer. I'll let you all know I have tried out this makeup already. Made sure I liked it. This primer reminds me a lot of the L'Oreal Lumi-Glotion, if you've ever used that before, but at a fraction of the price. And that is one big reason that I really wanted to use this makeup this morning and show this to you all. This is very affordable makeup. I did not buy anything, any of the products that I'm using, I did not spend over $5 on. A lot of it was only $3, $4, but nothing costs more than $5. And I know that right now, you know, we obviously are in some tough times. And there are a lot of people that are either out of work or your hours have been cut or other expenses have come up due to the pandemic that we're living in right now. And makeup is an expense that, you know, comes up if if you're someone that enjoys wearing makeup, which I'm going to imagine you are if you're watching this. But all of a sudden you run out of something. Maybe you've run out of your foundation. Speaking of which, let's move into that real quick. Let me show you what I'm wearing. This is the Believe Foundation. And this is called their Skin Finish Foundation. This is a beautiful foundation, you all. I have this in the shade Nude. Very good neutral color for me. I do about 2 pumps of this. And that is something else. This does have a very nice pump, like a lot of our high-end and higher-end drugstore makeup does. So I do about 2 pumps of that, and I'll start spreading that on my skin here. But as I was saying, you know, all of a sudden we're short on money, but we're out of foundation. And maybe right now that's an expense that just, you know, you're wondering, my goodness, am I going to be able to wear foundation? I just don't even have the money for that. And even some of the drugstore foundations are not that cheap. You know, some of the ones that I get from L'Oreal and ColourPop, they're, you know, run between $15, $16. Whereas this one from Dollar General, I will put the price right below here. But like I said, no more than $5. And I think that probably that's something that you could scrounge up if you really needed to get your foundation or any of the makeup that I'm going to be using. Something that is very, very affordable. So I did find with this foundation, it does apply best with a sponge. It is a medium coverage foundation. It does have a thicker texture to it. So I did find that the sponge was the best technique to apply this with. And this does give a really pretty skin-like finish to the skin. And I think that with that primer I put on already, just a really nice luminous glow to my skin. I do put that over my eyelids, kind of blend that all in. Now trying not to come underneath my eyes. I didn't do my concealer yet. I normally do my concealer first. I forgot, I'll admit it. I get to talking and I get out of order on things, you all. At least I put my hair up. But just pat that in really nicely and that blends in beautifully. I can see I've got good coverage. I don't think the camera was picking it up very well, but I do have a little breaking out going on my chin right now. Maskne, I think we can all relate to that right now. I've got about three blemishes right now on my chin that this just really covered up beautifully. So really like that foundation. All right, let's move on to concealer. This is the concealer that they carry from Believe Beauty. And I've got this in the shade Fair. Very good match for me. You know, with concealer, you do want this to be just a little lighter than your foundation color. And this does have a applicator with it. I do like that. And I just put on a few dots there, and I'm going to come in with my concealer brush and start blending that in. So like I said, you know, I know that a lot of people, you know, I don't want to sound like a snob when I say this by any means, but, you know, a lot of people don't think of Dollar General as a place where you can get high quality makeup. And I was very surprised with this Believe Beauty makeup. I have worn this a couple of times, and it really is a beautiful brand. That is inexpensive. I think that this rivals your Maybelline and your L'Oreal. Now, I will be very honest with you all. As I put on some of this makeup, I will let you know my opinion of it and how it worked out for me. But stay tuned, because I think you all are going to be very surprised with the finished look on this. It's really pretty. This concealer is pretty good. I'm not going to say it gives me as much coverage as my Bye Bye Under Eyes does, or even my Maybelline Age Rewind, but it is a good, decent concealer. The foundation, though, is to stand out at this point. Now I'm going to put in a little bit of powder, and Believe Beauty does have their own loose powder. I have this in the shade Translucent, and this is called their Matte Blur Loose Powder. I normally don't like a very mattifying powder. You all, I've mentioned before, I do tend to have a bit more dry skin, especially around this time of year. But I have tried this. I didn't find this very drying. I just come down my nose and into my pores here to try to blur those pores a little bit. And that's really all that I do. And this just applies beautifully. Blends those pores in and gives me some good coverage on my nose there. And there we go. So that's got my face all finished there. Okay, now that I've got my face done, let's start putting some color on this. And I have got a palette here, again, that Believe Beauty, that I bought at our Dollar General. And this is called their Get Glowing Highlight and Contour Palette in the shade Light Medium. So let me open this up and show these colors to you all. There is that palette. Very, very pretty colors. Now, there's also a blush in here. You can notice right in the middle there, you've got a really pretty blush. Now, you would think this bronzer doesn't look very dark, but the first time I put it on, I was shocked. It actually applied darker than I thought it would. So what I do, if I've got a bronzer that's a little darker than I want, I will use a larger brush to apply that with. That way, I'm not concentrating that color so much. This gives a better blend to that. So I'm just going to dip into that real lightly. Again, I come up a little higher on my cheeks where I do have a thinner face. I don't like to contour too much, but I do want some color added there. So I just tap that in. Oh yeah, that brush is applying that really nicely. Come into the other side, dip in again, and apply that to the other side. Yeah, the first time I put this on, I used my more condensed angled brush, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's going to be way too dark. And came back in and blended it with this brush, but this technique is going on a lot better, where I just started out with this larger brush. Then I dip again, tap into that. I come up to my forehead, color that in a little bit, try to give myself some brightness, especially with this pale winter skin we've got going on right now. And then I do like to, I won't dip back in again. I'm going to pinch my brush a little bit. I do like to come down just a little bit down the edge of my nose, contour just a little bit there, and then blend my chin. That helps to disguise anything of a double chin or a drooping chin. And there we go. So just starting to add some color to the face now. Okay, then I'll come back into that palette, and I'm going to put on that blush in the middle. And this is a very pretty blush. Again, have to be careful with this one. It looks very light, but when you put it on, it actually puts on a little bit darker than you would think. So I'm going to tap that in. And I would call this a peachy pink color. That's really my favorite. Something that's got a bit of pink and a bit of peach. Help to brighten that skin up a little bit. Put just a little more on. And I do concentrate mainly on the upper cheek here. Don't come too much toward the front because that tends to droop a little bit. So we want to raise this up a little bit. And there you go. Let me show you that blush. That is really pretty. I really like this blush a lot. It applies very nicely. And then finally, highlighter. So I'm going to be putting on that color right there. Now this is a very bright highlighter. So I'm using, again, a larger fan brush like this, just dipping in a little bit and coming up now on the highest part of my cheek. And that just puts a little bit of color on there because it may not look like much as I'm putting it on, but when I wore this for the first time and went out in the sunlight, whoo, I mean, it was there. My cheeks were there. So I'm trying really hard not to put on quite so much. Gonna dip in one more time, come down the bridge of my nose. Oh yeah, that's pretty. And then a little bit in my Cupid's bow. This is a little bit bigger fan brush than I normally use for my highlighter, but I find for this one, this highlighter, this is perfect. Perfect way to blend that in and not have, you know, really stand out highlight. Now, if you like a higher voltage highlighter, then you probably would really like this a lot. That's why I'm just doing a little bit. I do like a nice highlighter, but again, I don't want that to be the main thing that's standing out. So that was that palette right there. Really like that. They've got that in different shades. So if you've got a darker skin tone, they definitely have something that'll work for you. Let's take a little coffee sip real quick, you all. Of course, it's early morning, so I need my coffee. Okay, let's get back to it. Eyebrows. They do carry their own line of eyebrow pencils. Now, one thing I will warn you all about, this is actually not the first pencil that I bought from them. I originally bought the shade light brown, which is what I wear in a lot of other eyebrow pencils, either light brown or taupe. So I thought that the light brown in this one would have worked okay. It didn't. It was way too dark. I wore it once, and my husband and I actually went out, and he even commented, "Wow, your eyebrows are really standing out there, aren't they?" So I know if that's not what's getting commented on, it's a bit dark. So I went back to Dollar General and I bought the shade Blonde and found that this does a much better job. And something else about this pencil, I normally use retractable eyebrow pencils. This one is not. This is one that you would have to sharpen as it gets duller. Never used one like this, but I do like the application of this. It goes on very nicely. It's got a bit of a waxy finish to it, but it glides on really nicely. And I can even tell though, even this, you know, matches the color of my light brown pencils as I'm putting this on. So again, if, you know, you got lighter brows, these pencils may not work for you because this is, as far as I know, this is the lightest shade they have. And as you can see, it does go on rather dark. Still feel like these brows look a little dark. They're not bad. I think once I put my color on my eyes, it won't look so stark. But I'm going to be honest with you all. I told you I'd be honest. I don't know that I'd recommend this eyebrow pencil. It applies nicely, but it just goes on so dark. And I'm even holding the pencil a little bit lower down and still finding it a darker application. So I like I said I'd be honest about this makeup. You know, I want to recommend good affordable makeup to you all, but I don't want to recommend things that I don't think apply well. And this pencil, I'd probably pass on this one. Okay, let's move on now to my eye palette. You all, I gotta get going. I gotta go to work today. This is the eye palette I'm going to be wearing. Now these colors are beautiful. Love this little palette. This is called their Believe Beauty Eyeshadow Palette in Nearly Nude. Really pretty shades in here. You've got 2 matte colors. You've got a couple of shimmers and a couple of metallics in here. Apply very nicely. But something you may notice that's missing here is a good transition shade. Something that's a little bit lighter that I can put in that transition. So let me show you a little trick. If you ever have a palette like that doesn't have a good transition shade, something you could do instead is use your bronzer color. Mainly if it's a matte bronzer, I would recommend, but let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this bronzer color that I put on. Let me lower that a little. I'm going to use that bronzer color and use that in my transition. So there's that little trick for you. That works. I pulled that quite a bit when I have, again, an eyeshadow palette that doesn't have that transition. Now I'm going to come into this color right up here on the top. I'm going to put that on my corner. Just dip into that lightly. And these do apply very nicely. You know, again, for an inexpensive palette, I don't find that this has a lot of fallout. It applies very, very pretty to the eyelids here. And I start down at the bottom lid and I kind of come up toward the middle crease here, and I will blend that in. Don't worry, that'll get blended if it's looking a little crazy right now. And then I'll come over to this side. And there we go. What I'm doing now is I'm just taking a brush and I'm blending that into the crease, blending that corner color. And you can see these colors really do blend well. This is a palette I would recommend. There were other shades of this palette. I want to say there was about 4 or 5 different color stories with this same palette, this same 6-pan palette. So if these are not, you know, I obviously went for a more neutral look with this. A lot of times if I'm trying out new makeup, that is what I'll do. I'll start out with a more neutral look, and if I like it, then I'll kind of maybe branch out a little bit into some color. But it's hard to really mess up neutrals too much. So really like that. That looks really nice. Okay, now for my lid shimmer, I'm going to come into this color right here and apply that with my finger. And these do go on really nicely. I just start kind of in the middle, and I'll move out just a little bit. Get some good cover on that eyelid. Come into my other one. And these shimmers, they really apply nicely. I find that with this technique of using my finger, they really apply nicely. I mean, these rival some of the better palettes, drugstore palettes. You know, I'm not going to lie to you all and say that these rival some of the high-end eye palettes. I mean, they don't, but they're still good. They're still very good product. Okay, then I'm going to come in with this color right here, and I'm going to use my pinky, dip into that, and put that in my inner shimmer here. Brighten that inner lid up a little bit. That's a great way to kind of open your eyes up, make you look more awake than you really are. Because, again, you saw the time. It's early, you all. And I've already been up for a bit. And I'll put that in that other inner corner. Oh, that's so pretty. Yeah, love this look. I mean, just a great little palette. Okay, then I'm going to use this shade right here to highlight. Take a brush for that. So I'm just going to dip into that and come up here on the top. And then I come in just a little bit in my tear duct here, my inner corner tear duct. Put a little bit of that brightness there. Again, that helps to open those eyes. Make me look more awake than I really am. There we go. Now, eyeliner. They didn't really have an eyeliner that I was crazy about. And you guys know that one of the things I like to do is actually use eyeshadow shades for my liner. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come into that same color that I put in my corner, and I'm going to use that for my liner. And how I'll do that, I've got this brush right here. This is from Eco Tools, and this is called their angled liner. I do like to moisten this a little bit, so I got a little cup of water. I'm going to dip that in, and then I'll dry it off on a tissue. Don't want it to be soaking wet. And then I'll take that and I'll just dip ever so lightly into that color and come in, and I try to get as close to my eyelashes as I can. Again, I don't want to take up too much of that lid space. It's limited space there, you all. So let me put just a little more, and this applies very nicely as an eyeliner. Again, I don't like a heavy eyeliner look. I just like something that's going to kind of help to accentuate my eyes, but not look like an obvious eyeliner. Okay, and there we go. Again, just a little bit to help frame those eyes a bit, open them up a little bit again, and we're done there. Mascara. They do have their own mascara. There actually were a few different types of mascara that they carried. The one that I bought, this is, again, Believe Beauty Voluminize Mascara. Cute name there. Voluminize Mascara. I did get this in the shade brown. The only options were brown, black, and I think very black. I do like to try to stick toward the black brown color just for myself. I find that works better. Again, I've mentioned I do have the baggy under eyes, so I try to stay away from anything that's going to transfer too darkly. Let me show you all the applicator on this mascara. I really like this applicator a lot. It's got that hourglass shape to it, but it's actually, if you'll notice, it gets a little thinner on this side. Really like this applicator. It is a plastic applicator. This is the first one I've used that's really like this before, but I do like the way it applies. However, I told you all I'd be honest with you all. I do find that this mascara throughout the day did transfer to my lower lids, and that is something that's a deal breaker for me. Now I'm wearing it because I want to show you all, it really does look pretty when you first put it on. I mean, I had high hopes for this mascara. When I first put it on, I thought, oh my goodness, that really does voluminize. But by the end of the day, I did have quite a bit of transfer to my lower lid. Maybe I'll have better luck today. I will say, the first time I wore this makeup, I didn't use a setting spray. I didn't actually buy the setting spray. So when I went back to get the eyebrow pencil, I saw the setting spray and thought, well, let's try that. So we'll see. We'll see if this helps a little bit. I will put some comments down in the description at the end of this when I go and upload this to let you all know how this wore throughout the day. Just, again, I want to be honest with you all. But at this point, I would say I don't think I would recommend this mascara if you are prone to your mascara transferring to your lower lid. And I am. I mean, if a mascara is going to transfer, it is definitely going to transfer on me. I don't know why. I don't know if I have watery eyes, watery lids, but I do find I'm very prone to colors transferring to my lower lid. So that's why I really try hard to look for mascaras that don't do that. And I have found some good ones that I've shared a lot with you all. So we'll see. We'll see how this works with that setting spray. Speaking of, let's get into that. Now, this is the first time I have used this setting spray. You all are getting the grand reveal of this along with me. This is their setting spray. And this is called their Makeup Perfecting Setting Spray. It does say on here that you can actually use this as your primer, as a setting spray, and as a refresher. If you need refreshing throughout the day, you know, maybe it's gotten halfway through the day and your makeup is just looking a little dull, take your setting spray and give yourself a couple of sprays there. Personally, I don't typically do that. Once my makeup is on, I'm done. I don't do a lot of touch-ups throughout the day, except for lipstick. I will touch up lipstick. But let me shake this a little bit, and let's see how this applies. Let's do a little test here. I'm not sure how this works. Oh, that's got a nice mist to it. Okay, let's try that, you all. Oh, I don't like that smell. It's got a bit of a fragrance to it, as most setting sprays do. I mean, it's hard to find a setting spray that doesn't have a bit of a fragrance to it, but some are nicer than others. I'm trying to think of what that smells like. It's got a bit of a perfumey smell to it. So if you're sensitive to smells, I would probably stay away from this. I will say the smell's gone away. Once I sprayed it and kind of fanned it on, that spray has gone away a bit. So if you can put up with it for those few moments when you first spray it, you'll probably be all right. Now, I will say, you all, I did find, I did get a few little droplets with this. It's blending nicely. It's not messing my makeup up at all, but it didn't have a real smooth spray on it. Again, you know, we'll see how this works throughout the day. I'll give you guys an update in the description below to let you guys know that. Okay, last thing, my lips. They do have some nice lip products. First off, here's the lipstick that I'm going to be using. This is in the shade Moroccan Spice. Ooh, Moroccan Spice. This is their Satin Crush lipstick. Let me show you guys. Let me show you what this looks like. Very pretty neutral color. Really like that a lot. Let me do a swatch of that on my hand. Sometimes it's easier to see. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. Kind of reminds me a bit of my MAC Spirit lipstick, actually. So, let me put that on. And I'll let you guys know, again, I have worn this. This lipstick did actually wear very well throughout the day. I didn't have to apply it a whole lot. Of course, after I would eat or something, you know, obviously I had to put it on again. But this actually did stay put. So this is a lipstick I would recommend. I actually think I might go back and get some more of these. Okay, then lip liner. They do carry their own lip liners. This is their lip liner. Let's see what this is called. This is their long-lasting lip liner. And I can attest it is long-lasting. And this is in the shade Barely There. Barely There. So very good. Again, a nice, good, neutral shade there. And I'm going to line my lips with that. Now, this obviously is a retractable lip liner. I like those a lot. Don't have to worry about sharpening. And these glide on really nicely. Really like these. And I have to say, I think this is something I'm going to go buy some more shades of. I really like this. This reminds me a little bit of the Wet n Wild lip liners. If you guys are fans of those, you probably would also like this, the Believe Long-Lasting Lip Liner. All right, there we go. Last thing, our gloss. They do carry glosses. This is their, let's see what this is called, their Lustrous Shine Lip Gloss. And I have this one in the shade Ethereal. This is a very pretty, shiny, more toward the pink color. But when I put it on, it actually really doesn't transfer that pink very much. Now, one thing I'm not crazy about this, that applicator is very tight. And when I take it out, I mean, I have to pretty much pull on it. And you could see there was some it kind of stuck in there. But what I'm going to do is just put that right in the middle. And this is a very high shine gloss. And like I said, I don't feel like that pink really transferred too much. There we go. Oh yeah, that's very pretty. Love that blend. Very nice, pretty nude look. A little darker maybe on the nude side, but very pretty neutral nude look there. All right, let me fix my hair. While I do that, here's my finished look for the day. Show you guys a picture of my outfit. This outfit that I'm wearing is from TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx is another great place if you're on a tight budget, but you need some work clothes, or maybe not even just work clothes, maybe just some, you know, going out, running around clothes. TJ Maxx is another great option. You can get some great outfits. Again, inexpensive. All right, you all, here's my finished look. Let's take a look at my eyes. Take a look at the side, my cheeks with that palette and my lips. So really, really pretty look. I hope this gave you some good ideas. Again, if you are on a budget, you don't like to spend a lot on your makeup, but you want a pretty look, this Believe Beauty has some great products I think you all would like. Now, let's do a time check. Almost forgot you all. 6:58. So not bad at all. I did quite a bit of talking. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel. Now, let's get to work.